Alright boys, and welcome back to another vanilla base design. 6 months ago I posted the original Tanky quad, and since then it's done absolutely amazing. It's absolutely the best performing video on my channel, and I've seen it so many times on loads of different servers. As the channel's grown in 6 months, so has hopefully my building skills, so I decided to create a remastered version of the Tanky quad. This one is definitely an upgrade and a huge improvement. Hopefully boys do enjoy. Large furnaces, plenty of sneaky turret spots, and the great thing is building privileges spread all the way around the compound, which means grubs cannot build in easily. Heading inside we have the same airlock as the last Tanky quad, however this time we have a ladder hatch that takes us up to a mobility chute, meaning we can access our shooting floor and peek downs with ease. Up in these extra sections you can place bags, boxes and anything else to help you defend your base quickly. Inside the shell we have 4 identical bedrooms, and they've been built in a way so that you can use them to defend. Inside the bedrooms I've placed 3 boxes and a bed, and the staircase can be used to head glitch raiders inside of your shell. Heading through the double door takes us to our original starter base, where we're going to keep our main bags, tier 3 and our TC. This base is multi-TC, and it has disconnectables, therefore it's not a massive deal if you lose your main TC inside. The second floor is definitely the main attraction of the base, where we have our massive loot room that can be defended by 4 turrets. The entrance and the exits to our open core are 2 ladder hatches that is perfect for our 4-man, and a lot harder for raiders to push down with. On each side of the base we can use ramps to peek into the shell, and the same method to peek into the open core. Also hidden on the peek downs floor is 2 roof bunkers that most people would easily miss. These are right above the open core, and we have one on each side of the base. You can fit a lot of boxes, and I recommend you store all your valuable loot inside here. Heading further up we have 2 roof peek ups that look onto opposite sides of the base, and finally our roof exit. The roof peek ups, windows and turrets allow you to push out onto your roof with ease. Even though the roof has peek ups, the 4 turrets should cover it perfectly, and there's also space to land minicopters and scrap helis if you need. Final thing to show off is the shooting floor, and everything is wide gapped all the way around. This means your shooting floor is going to survive after a pummel, and you can still use it even when your base has a hole inside. Wide gaps are perfect to shoot players laddering onto your base, people inside the compound, or you can use the gaps in the walls to shoot out far. Don't forget to check the description for the sanctuary code, there's also a link to my Discord, and remember boys, sub if you're sound, and enjoy the rest of the video. If you guys enjoy how this one looks and you want to see how to build it, stick around and I'll show you guys what to do. As you know, the first thing I like to show off is the footprint. Take a screenshot of this if you need, and let's jump onto the star base. Alright, so the Tanky quad starts off with a 2x1 footprint, and it's surrounded in triangles. In each of the triangles we're going to have a front door, a TC, a jump up and a loot room. The inner core can honestly be built however you like, this is just what I recommend. And placing your windows and your half walls and stuff like that after you've done the deployables. And this should be fine for 4 people to live out of for a little while, until you farm up to the big boy base. Slap on a roof, and we're going to leave a wooden triangle for our jump up. Next we're going to be doing the multi-TC part of the base, so we're going to build out with 8 squares and come back with triangles. I'm sure you've done it all before. Triangle half moons, finish on a square, and then add a triangle on each side of that square. Then we're just going to finish off the footprint. Just building this one in stone because you can actually upgrade this base at any point. You can access all the foundations and walls. These 4 squares that I've upgraded to metal are going to decay, they're not technically attached, so once we place walls they will be attached, don't panic about them. And then we're going to give the shell a layer of walls. And now let's connect our shell to a TC before it all starts to decay. I'm going to be building Mini Satori's triangle version TC, but you guys again can build whatever you'd like. Just adding a little section for a turret to go inside the compound first. If you build it exactly the same as me, you'll have 1 turret facing your external TC and 1 turret coming in towards the compound. And you can slap chain link fences in front of both of these turrets, so they're kind of OP. Only thing that can go wrong with this external TC is forgetting to do the double half wall, so don't forget to do the double half wall. Again, make sure you lock every single TC in this base, because it's a lot easier if they can just open them once they get near the TC. And boom, that's the disconnectable. Place the roof, it disconnects. Take away the roof and build it back and it reconnects. Super useful thing to have inside a multi-TC base. And then just place down those turrets I was talking about. Now we're going to add in some more frames around the airlock. Don't forget about the ladder hatch so that we can use our mobility chute. Yeah, that floor frame there, don't forget about it. And then we're just going to raise up these chutes to the max height that they go. They're really easy to forget about, so that's why I'm building them first. That's as tall as they're going to get, and they'll help also be a guideline for us building the rest of the shell. Next we're going to work on the bedrooms. There's 4 of them and they're all exactly the same, so I will show you how to build one bedroom. Fill in the rest of the second floor, and then we're going to wall in the bottom floor of our bedrooms. Place a U-shaped stairs inside the square for your bed and some boxes underneath. Again, this square is going to be great for head glitching people inside the shell, so when you first spawn in your bedroom you're not really just sitting behind a door getting door camped. And then you can give your bedrooms a second floor as well and a roof. Finally, we're going outside to place a half-height triangle shelf inside your bedroom for more boxes. Next, we're going to go back inside the base and we're going to start raising up the core to the same height as the shell. Place in your multi-TC walls, and then we can add some frames down here as well to help increase stability. Next, we're going to wall in the open core and start working on that. In total, the open core is 1.5 walls high, so keep that in mind. These low walls here are actually to activate the conditional. They are essential and you will need to place them, even if you think they get in the way. Make sure you rotate them until the wall is covered up and there's no gaps. Then you can continue working on the open core as shown. Add in your half walls on top of your open core and leave out the ones on either side, because remember our turret needs to see inside the open core. Once again, we're going to raise up the shell and miss out the section where we're going to place our turret, so we can get that cool ramp turret thing. It's kind of OP. Then we're doing bedrooms in the middle here, and we're also placing the walls for our bunker. Leave out the walls of the shell just so we can place our cool kind of OP turret that comes through the ramp. Next, you're going to need to come outside and place some frames and raise them up so that we have a platform to set our turret on top of. And then just build a half-height shell on top of that big box that you've made, and our turret's going to go on there. I'm building this with symmetry on, but just keep in mind you do everything to the opposite side. The base is symmetrical by 2. This frame's super important, the floor frame. Place that first before the ramp or you'll break stuff. Then you can do your turret, then your chain link fence, and then your ramp. And boom, now you've got a really annoying turret pointing straight into your open core. Remember to seal the gap at the top of your bunker with a floor frame. In order to do this, it's a little bit finicky, but just make sure the wall's stone, hard side facing out the way, and you should be able to place it. Beside your ladder hatch, we're going to add in a couple of window frames so that we can use them to peek down. Next, we're going to be creating the ramp peek downs that actually look onto the shell, so for that we need a half-height floor that we're going to use from on top of the bedroom. Then once you've gotten all your half-height floors, you can delete the build-up and add frames around your bedroom roofs. Then slap a floor on top of those frames, and a lower ramp. Then slap a floor on top of those frames, and a lower ramp. Now you've got your floating ramp, upgrade these to metal for the best visibility. Next, we're going to start working on the roof. We've got a couple of roof peak-ups to keep in mind and a few airlocks, so just follow along closely. Then there's a slight pancake layer that goes around the core of the base to help defend the bunkers. And then you can create the walls that go between your shooting floor and your peek downs floor. You're going to have 2 exits and entrances onto the shooting floor, and they're going to be at opposite sides of the base. Don't forget to create your peek up beside your exit. And that's the roof airlock, just make that on the opposite side, and now you've got 2 roof peak-ups and a spot for a turret. Next we're going to build the roof, and sometimes I find it hard to place the frames for the windmills, so I'm just going to place them now on top of the triangles. Once you've gotten both of those placed, we're going to add in some frames to cover up gaps on the roof. Next we're going to be working on the shooting floor, and we actually have 4 different sections of wide gapping to work on. However, 2 are exactly the same, so I'll show you 2 different versions. Should make a nice hexagon shape with 2 legs on the left and right. Then we're going to raise frames all the way up to the max height of the shooting floor. And now we need to connect this wide gapping back to the base, and we'll do this like so. For this one, we're going to build out with some triangles and then 2 squares, cap it off with a triangle and build back in the same direction. And then once you've got that triangle in place, just raise frames all the way up to the max height of the shooting floor. And then we're going to reconnect it back to the base so it doesn't decay. Make sure you place the shooting floor frames before the reconnection floor frames. Has to be done in that order. And then once you've done all of those things all the way around the base, then you can start placing your floors for the shooting floor. Once the floors are down, you can slap the window frames all the way around the perimeter. And then we can add a roof on top of that, and we're just going to match the gaps below the roof. Next, we're going to build some turret pods halfway up inside our windmills. So just do a layer of half walls with a floor on top to sneak a turret inside. And once you've got that, you can add another set of frames around your floor with a windmill on top. Don't forget your embrasures that go all the way around the base, put them on your window frames. And then we're just going to go around with roofs. We've got 6 triangle roofs and then the rest are squares. Boom, that's the base done. That's the remastered version of the Tanky quad. Upgrade it however you like. If you get fat HQM, just make the whole thing HQM. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this base. I really enjoyed making it and it was nice to revisit an old one. If you guys did enjoy the video, please feel free to leave a like, drop a sub, join the Discord as well if you want to speak to me. Remember to check out Bandit Camp and use my link in the description if you want to help me out. And I'll see you boys in the next one.